Hi, I'm Mangiapane, and we're happy to be a part of the LibinMoves campaign.
I'm Juuso, Välimäki. Get fit with us, Calgary.
Hi, my name's VanAsten. I'm the head strength coach for the Calgary Flames hockey team.
And I'm Selby, the assistant strength coach.
Today we're going to take you through a little workout that a typical hockey player might do, ranging from novice to advanced. We'll start with a general warm-up, working on range of motion, mobility, some muscle activation, and some dynamic activity before we get into the strength training portion. So this stretch here is called the pigeon stretch, basically working on mobilizing the glute musculature here and just opening up the hips a little bit. To increase difficulty, he can lower his upper body down to the ground and add a little bit of rotation if necessary. We typically hold this for about 30-45 seconds and do one each side. Okay, the next stretch is a hip open stretch. Again, we're working on hip mobility here. All Juuso is going to do is open up to one side, roll forwards, hold for a second, and come back. He's going to fire the glute again on this side, roll forward, hold for a couple seconds, come back. We'll do that for a set number of repetitions, usually 10 to 12, and we'll do that each side. This next stretch is the half kneeling quad hip flexor stretch. All Juuso is going to do here, he's going to contract his glute, he's going to contract his abs nice and hard, and then slightly roll forward till he feels a nice stretch on the front of the hip. Hold that for a couple seconds, and then roll back, and then repeat this 10 to 12 times on each side. He's going to roll forward, hold, and then come back. Okay, this next drill here is the child's pose T-spine, just working on mobility of the upper back. So Juuso's going to start in a quadruped position. He's going to roll back into his child's pose here. He's going to take one arm and put his hand behind his head. From there, he's going to open up as far as he can and then back. We're going to do this for 10 to 12 repetitions on each side. And this is to open up and mobilize the T-spine. This next drill is a muscle activation to activate the glute musculature. We're going to lie on our back. Andrew from there is going to grab one knee, bridge up, firing the glutes as hard as he can, as well as his abs. He's going to hold that for 2 seconds and then down. He's going to perform 10 to 12 repetitions of this on each side. Again, this is to activate the glute muscles. This exercise is the side lying hip abduction. Again, we're trying to activate the glute musculature before we do any strength training. All Andrew's going to do here is make sure he's nice and strong in the core and in the hips. He's going to raise his leg as high as he can, hold for a couple seconds, and then lower. He's going to perform about 10 to 20 repetitions on each side. This exercise is the side lying hip adduction, and it's designed to activate the groin and adductor musculature prior to doing strength training. So again, Andrew's going to be lying on his side. What he's going to do is lift this leg up, hold for a second, activate that groin musculature, and lower. He's going to do 10 to 20 repetitions on each side. And again, we do this prior to strength training. This next exercise is the shoulder Ys, designed to activate the upper back musculature, posterior shoulder, just to get them warmed up prior to any strength training or weightlifting. All Andrew's going to do here, he's going to make sure his glutes are nice and activated. Thumbs are pointed in the air. He's going to raise his hands up as high as he can in a Y formation. Hold for a couple seconds and then lower. We're going to do 10 to 20 repetitions of that. Really want to pull his scapula together and down. Make sure he's activating that upper back. So this next exercise is shoulder Ls. This is to activate the shoulder rotator cuff muscles, just to prepare the shoulder muscles for any strength training that we're about to do. Andrew's going to sit here. He's going to raise his elbows and his arms are at a 90-degree angle. From there, he's going to externally rotate his hands up, hold for a second, and then down. He's probably going to do about 10 to 20 repetitions of this, depending. And Again, this is to activate the rotator cuff and warm those up before any strength training. This next series is a little bit more dynamic than the last few exercises. We'll do this immediately prior to doing any of our strength training. It's called the supine series. We're just getting the hips and all the joints and muscles mobilized in a dynamic way. There's 4 exercises. The first being knee hugs. We're going to alternate legs here in a knee hug from a knee hug standpoint. Do about 5 reps per side. The next, he's going to do a straight leg hamstring. Again, he's going to alternate legs in a dynamic way. Again, 5 reps each side. The next exercise is a leg cradle. So he's going into external rotation. 5 per side there. And the last one is a lateral hamstring. So we're working on the lateral aspect of the hamstring on the outside portion. He's going to do about 5 reps there. Okay, now we're moving on to our strength training portion of the workout. The first 2, we're going to look at our squat variations. So our first squat variation, Andrew's going to perform strictly a body weight squat. So from here, he's standing nice and tall, his glutes are activated, and his abs are nice and activated. He's going to squat down as deep as he can, pushing his knees outwards. Hold for a second at the bottom, not too long, come back up. And as he comes up, he's going to go into full hip extension and firing his glutes as hard as he can and his abs. He's going to perform this for a set number of repetitions and sets. So the next progression to the squat variation is a goblet squat. So it's performed almost in the same way as a bodyweight squat, except now we're adding an external load to this. It makes it a little bit more intense. So same things, he's going to start nice and tall, fire his glutes and his abs. He's going to squat down, push his knees out, get as deep as possible, nice form, all the way up, firing the glutes and abs, get as tall as he can. He's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. Okay, our next set of exercises are upper body push variations, specifically with regards to the push-up. So the first progression is hands-on bench. This is the most novice progression that we're going to show today. So Juuso's going to start hands-on bench. He's going to really fire his glutes and abs and have a nice straight line basically from his shoulders to his toes. He's going to lower himself to the bench and push up. Push all the way up, nice and strong here, nice and strong. All the way up, and he's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. Okay, our next progression to the push-up is a standard push-up. So now his hands are going to be on the ground. So he's going to extend his legs, get a nice plank position, fire the glute muscles, fire the core muscles, chin nice and tucked so his head's in a neutral position. And same thing, he's going to lower his body to the ground. Try to keep your elbows a little bit tighter to your body. He's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. Our most advanced progression of the push-up, Juuso's going to elevate his feet now, hands on the ground. So same things, he's going to focus on firing the glute muscles as hard as he can, fire his ab muscles as well, nice and strong. He's going to lower to the ground, keep his elbows fairly tight to his body on about a 45-degree angle. He's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. And just be sure that we're maintaining stability in the hips and core. Okay, these next exercises here we're going to focus on is anterior core musculature, make sure those are nice and strong. The first progression here is just a standard front plank. So Andrew's going to set up, his elbows are going to be directly under his shoulders, and he's going to kind of screw his elbows outwards, his hands outwards that way to create some nice tension in the shoulder. Again, he's going to fire his glutes as hard as he can and maybe bring his feet a little bit closer together to make that easier to do. He's going to hold this here for about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on skill level, and that's basically it, to just hold as nice as straight line as he can from his head to his heels. Next progression to the anterior core is called a stability ball rollout. Andrew's going to set up almost like he did in the front plank, except this time his elbows are now on a stability ball. Again, he's going to have a nice, strong contracted glute and abdominal muscles, stay nice and stable. Then from there, he's going to extend his shoulders and arms outwards and roll back in. He's going to do this for a set number of repetitions while maintaining posture in the lower back, abs, and hips. So our most advanced progression to the anterior cord is called the body saw. So Andrew's going to set up exactly like he did in the front plank position, except now he's going to push back with his elbows on the pad and make his entire body slide backwards, and then he's going to pull forward. He's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. You know, this can be done at home on a carpet with carpet sliders or on a hardwood floor in socks. It's pretty simple to do at home. So he's going to do a set number of repetitions here, just pushing his body back and forth.
So Juuso here is going to demonstrate the split squat. So we're just going to do it body weight, but there's a number of different ways you could load this. So I'm going to get him in position, one leg behind the other. You don't want to be overextended, so you don't want that back leg too far back. He comes down, that front knee comes forward, just over the toes, and he keeps a nice upright posture. Now to make this more difficult, you could hold dumbbells by your side, kettlebell in front, barbell on the back. There's a number of different ways to make this exercise more difficult. So the next progression on the split squat we're going to do is a little bit more dynamic. Juuso is going to step back into a split squat. This is called a reverse lunge. So Juuso, if you just want to step back, the bottom position's the same. He comes up and we're driving that knee at the top. Hold for a second, step back. All the key elements are the same. Nice upright posture, knee comes forward. So the next variation on the split squat, this is the more advanced variation, is a rear foot elevated split squat. So his back foot is up on a bench and all the other elements remain the same. He's going to have a nice upright posture, sink down, letting that front knee come forward. Squeezing this back glute here. And you can make it more difficult through all the loading measures outlined in the slides. And he's going to do this for a set number of repetitions. Andrew here is going to demonstrate the glute bridge. This is a great posterior chain exercise for the glutes and hamstrings. So the first regression we're going to do here is just a simple two-legged glute bridge. So he's going to start by contracting his abs and then squeeze the glutes to raise the hips in the air. His feet are aligned. He's going to hold for a second at the top, squeezing the glutes hard, and then come down nice and controlled. The next variation on this, little progression to make it more difficult, would be a one-leg variation. So he's going to raise one leg, he's going to bend it 90 degrees and just hold it right there. The rest is the exact same. So he starts by contracting the abs, then contracts the glutes to raise the hips off the ground. The third progression of this, to make it even a little bit more difficult, would be to elevate your shoulders on a bench. So he's going to get in the same position as before, but this time shoulders are elevated, and you could load this by adding weight on the hips. He's going to contract the abs, contract the glutes, raise the hips up, squeeze hard at the top, and control down. And then you could also perform this in a one-leg variation as well. He's going to perform this for a set number of repetitions. Juuso here is going to demonstrate the TRX row. He's going to show the easiest variation first, which is being pretty upright. The more horizontal you are, the more challenging it is. So first thing he's going to do is pull his chest through the handles. His core is tight. He's squeezing right behind the shoulder blades, and he's nice and aligned from his head right down to his heels. Common mistakes in this is arching too much or trying to push the head through the handles. He's pulling his chest right through the handles. To make this more difficult, he can either move his feet more forward so he's more horizontal, or if you just want to get up for a second, we could pull in this bench. He'll turn around. Back a little more. Oh, that's good. And he's completely horizontal, making it more difficult, and perform the same way for a set number of repetitions. So next, Juuso is going to demonstrate the chest-supported dumbbell row. For this one, you just need something to lean up against that puts you on a 45-degree angle or lower. And the elements are very similar to the TRX row. He's going to squeeze between the shoulder blades as he brings his elbows back towards his hips, and then control lower. Common mistakes in this one are overarching the low back, shooting the shoulders forward. You want to be nice and strong right between the shoulder blades. Initiate with that part of the movement. This will be performed for a set number of repetitions. Final row variation Juuso's going to demonstrate here is a one-arm dumbbell row. So he's going to support his upper torso on the bench with his hand. He's in a bit of a staggered stance and a nice long back here, neutral spine. He's going to initiate the movement by pulling between the shoulder blades and bring his elbow back and controlled lower. This can be progressed by adding weight and is a more advanced variation of the row. Andrew here is demonstrating a side plank. It's a lateral core exercise. So in this variation, he has his feet stacked. You could also perform it with one foot in front of the other to make it a little bit easier. Important key points here are that he's in a straight line from the top of his head right down to his heel. He's squeezing his glutes, abs are tight, and you don't want to be sinking down too much or arching. Just nice straight line, and this is for stability. Andrew here is going to demonstrate the side plank leg lift. It's a variation on the aforementioned side plank. So he's in the exact same position, squeezing his glutes, nice straight line from the top of his head down to his heel. And he's going to raise his leg to the side. One thing here too is you don't want to open up too much with the foot. You want to keep it nice and straight. And he's going to work both your glutes and core, lateral core. Finally, we're going to perform one of the most difficult variations of a side plank, and that's a Copenhagen side plank. So on this variation, your top leg is going to support you. So if you want to come up, all the other principles are the same. He's a straight line from the head to the heel, squeezing that glute. We've got this leg bent 90 degrees, and this will be very challenging on the inner thigh, your adductor muscle group, as well as your lateral core.
I hope you enjoyed our Calgary Flames workout today as part of the Libin Moves campaign.
Get fit with us, Calgary.